The initial encounter with the Taj Mahal is one of impossible perfection, a symmetry so absolute it feels almost otherworldly. Yet the true genius of Shah Jahan's vision reveals itself not in the grand silhouette, but in the intricate details of its skin. The structure is clad in pristine Makrana marble, a stone chosen for its remarkable translucence, allowing it to absorb and reflect the subtleties of the changing day, from a soft rose at dawn to a milky blue under the moonlight. Inlaid into this luminous canvas are more than 28 types of semi-precious stones, a masterful technique known as pietra dura. Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, jade from China, turquoise from Tibet, and carnelian from Arabia were brought here by caravan and shaped by thousands of artisans. This elaborate floral calligraphy wasn't simply decoration. It was a physical map of the Mughal Empire's influence, a testament to an emperor's power to harness the beauty of the known world, transforming a monument to personal grief into an enduring statement of imperial and artistic ambition. To truly comprehend Dubrovnik, one must begin with its walls. This is not merely an ancient fortification, but a continuous, unbroken stone ribbon stretching for nearly 2 kilometers around the old city. Their construction, codified in the city's statute of 1272, created a defensive system so formidable, a network of towers, forts, and casemates that for over 500 years it was never breached by a hostile army. Yet, these walls tell a story not of constant warfare, but of shrewd diplomacy. For the Maritime Republic of Ragusa, they were the ultimate insurance policy, a physical manifestation of a fiercely guarded autonomy that allowed it to navigate the ambitions of Venice and the Ottoman Empire. Carved into the stone of the nearby Lovricenac fortress is the city's timeless creed, Non bene pro toto, libertas venditur auro. Liberty is not sold for all the gold in the world. Here, that principle is not an abstract ideal. It is a foundation, built to withstand the tides of history. The dramatic verticality of the Amalfi Coast is no mere geological accident. It is the very canvas upon which a powerful maritime history was painted. For centuries, long before it was a destination, this was the heart of a formidable republic whose sailors dominated Mediterranean trade. Their secret weapon wasn't just naval prowess, but an agricultural miracle born of necessity, the terraced cultivation of the Sfusato Amalfitano lemon. Rich in vital nutrients, these lemons were a crucial defense against scurvy on long voyages, making them as valuable as spice or silk and directly fueling the Republic's expansion. What we see today, thousands of precarious, hand-built terraces, or masserine, held by dry stone walls and connected by countless steps, is not simply a picturesque landscape. It is a monumental testament, carved over 1,000 years, to the profound human ingenuity required to not just survive on this unforgiving terrain, but to thrive by literally reshaping a mountain to meet the demands of the sea. The sound arrives first, a low-frequency tremor that resonates deep in the chest long before the source is seen. This immense amphitheater of water, known in the Guarani language as Big Water, wasn't carved from soft sandstone, but from hard volcanic basalt laid down over 100 million years ago. The river's relentless power found a weakness not in the rock's strength, but in its layered structure, creating the iconic two-step cataract that defines so many of the 275 individual falls. This geological story is written across the landscape, from the upper falls that fan out across the plateau's edge, to the lower falls that plunge into the chasm below. Each cascade is a temporary masterpiece, as the entire system is slowly, almost imperceptibly, retreating upstream at a rate of a few millimeters per year. What we are witnessing is not a permanent monument, but a single, powerful moment in a geological process that is constantly reshaping the continent itself. The Maasai called this place Seringet, the land that runs on forever. And from any vantage point, their name feels like an understatement. But these endless plains are not an accident of geography. They are a direct legacy of ancient geological violence. Millions of years ago, volcanoes in the nearby Ngorongoro highlands blanketed this region with a fine ash, creating a shallow, mineral-rich soil over a hardpan of compressed calcite. This layer prevents the growth of deep-rooted trees, ensuring the grasslands remain open, and imbues the grass with a unique concentration of phosphorus, an essential nutrient. It is this volcanic soil that truly powers the Serengeti, fueling the birth of over 500,000 wildebeest calves each year and setting in motion the Great Migration. What we witness here is not merely a spectacle of life, but a profound and enduring conversation between the earth beneath our feet and the immense herds that depend upon its ancient chemistry. Mont Saint-Michel appears on the horizon not simply as an island, but as a geological exclamation point, a granite outcrop crowned by a human ambition that seems to defy the very elements. Its story, however, is written not just in stone, but in water. This bay is a stage for some of the most dramatic tides in all of Europe, where the sea can retreat for 15 kilometers and return at the speed of a galloping horse, creating a difference of nearly 14 meters between its extremes. For over 1,000 years, this liquid rampart was the abbey's most formidable defender. The landscape itself is a living chronicle of this power. The river Couesnon, which now marks the border, once flowed on the other side, its slow, inexorable shift through the silt being what ultimately moored the mount to Normandy rather than Brittany. To stand here is to witness a profound dialogue between faith and physics, a testament to the enduring human drive to build a sacred space on the edge of the world. The Bagan Plain unfolds not as a simple landscape, but as a historical document written in brick and stone. Its staggering density of over 2,000 surviving temples is the direct result of a profound spiritual revolution that began in the 11th century, when King Anawrahta's embrace of Theravada Buddhism ignited a wave of devotional construction that would last for 250 years. Seeking spiritual merit, the kingdom's elite, from royalty to common officials, poured their wealth into these monuments. While their wooden palaces and homes have long since returned to the earth, these sacred structures, built from millions of fired bricks and finished with intricate stucco, were designed to endure. What we witness today is therefore a selective memory of a great empire, a silent, sprawling city of faith where the spiritual aspirations of a civilization were made tangible, outlasting the kings and kingdoms that gave them form. To stand here is to feel a deceptive tranquility, a profound sense of serene wilderness that masks an almost unimaginable power. The crisp mountain air and the quiet meandering of a river contribute to a peaceful facade, but this placid beauty is a delicate veil. We are not simply in a park. We are standing inside the very heart of one of the planet's largest and most dynamic active volcanic systems. The Yellowstone Caldera, a vast, almost imperceptible depression measuring nearly 45 by 30 miles, was forged by a cataclysmic eruption some 630,000 years ago. An event so violent, it plunged the globe into a volcanic winter. Every punctual geyser that rockets superheated water toward the sky, every hissing fumarole venting sulfurous steam from the Earth's core, and every jewel-toned hot spring with its impossibly vivid palette of microbial life is a direct and constant manifestation of the immense magma chamber that still slumbers just a few miles beneath our feet. This is not merely a landscape of scenic wonders, but the intricate and fragile surface expression of a colossal geothermal engine, a constant, palpable reminder that the titanic forces that shape this continent are not relics of a distant geological past. They are alive, breathing in the rhythmic pulse of the geyser basins, and perpetually sculpting this unique sanctuary for life, which thrives not in spite of this power, but because of it. The journey into Petra begins not with stone, but with an understanding of water. As you trace the winding path of the Siq, your eyes are drawn to its towering sandstone walls. But look closer, and you'll find the subtle, ingenious remains of terracotta channels, the arteries of an ancient metropolis. This wasn't merely a ceremonial necropolis. It was a bustling trade hub for as many as 20,000 souls, a city made possible only by the Nabateans' complete mastery of hydroengineering. They harnessed the infrequent desert flash floods, directing the life-giving resource into hundreds of cisterns and reservoirs hidden throughout the cliffs. The very geology that provided the canvas for their art, this soft, iron-rich sandstone that blushes in the changing light, also presented their greatest survival challenge. To see Petra, therefore, is to understand that its breathtaking facades are secondary to a more profound achievement, the creation of a vibrant oasis, a triumph of human ingenuity carved directly into one of the world's most unforgiving landscapes. To truly understand the Alhambra, one must first listen not to the echoes of history, but to the murmur of water. This fortress palace, perched above the arid plains of Andalusia, was designed as an earthly paradise, a concept made real not by stone, but by a masterful feat of hydraulic engineering. For over 800 years, the Acequia Real, a mother canal stretching nearly 6 kilometers, has channeled water from the distant Darro River, feeding every fountain, pool, and garden within these walls. This constant controlled flow was the Nasrid dynasty's ultimate luxury, a symbol of life and power that cooled the air, nourished the soul, and transformed sun-baked earth into a verdant sanctuary. The intricate tilework and delicate stucco are marvels, yet they were merely the stage for the true protagonist: water, used here as an architectural element to shape space, sound, and light. It's a profound reminder that the most enduring power isn't just the ability to build great walls, but the wisdom to cultivate an oasis in the heart of a desert. To understand Kyoto is to look beyond its celebrated serenity and see the rigid framework upon which it was built. When the capital was established here as Heian-kyo in the year 794, it was not an organic settlement, but a deliberate act of cosmic and political engineering. Its grid-like layout, a near-perfect square bisected by the Grand Suzaku Avenue, was a direct emulation of Chang'an, the magnificent capital of Tang Dynasty China. This wasn't mere imitation. It was a declaration of imperial ambition, a city aligned with the stars. Today, that ancient blueprint remains etched into the modern metropolis. The arrow-straight avenues and numbered streets are a constant reminder of this foundational logic, creating a fascinating tension with the secluded, contemplative worlds of the temples and gardens nestled within its blocks. To walk these streets is to experience a city born from a grand, intellectual design, a place where the straight line of human order provides the canvas for the sublime, winding path of nature. The shadow of El Castillo, the Great Step Pyramid, marks the passage of time with celestial precision. Its 365 steps, a silent calendar in stone. But the true genius of Chichen Itza is not found only in its mastery of the heavens, but in its profound relationship with the world beneath. This sprawling city rose from a flat, riverless landscape, a feat made possible by the region's unique geology, a porous, karstic limestone shelf honeycombed with cenotes, natural sinkholes leading to a vast network of subterranean rivers. The Great Cenote Sagrado was more than a well. It was the city's sacred heart, a feared and revered portal to the underworld, Xibalba, where offerings were made to the powerful rain god, Chac. Here, the Maya engineered a metropolis that was a perfect mirror of their cosmology, a place where the architectural quest to understand the stars was anchored, quite literally, to the life-giving and life-taking waters of the earth below. To stand here is to feel a sense of profound antiquity, as if these peaks have witnessed the dawn of time itself. Yet, the story of the Canadian Rockies is one of geological paradox. The rock beneath our feet, the limestone and shale that form these dramatic layered faces, is ancient, sediment laid down in a shallow sea over 500 million years ago. But the mountains themselves are geological newcomers, violently sculpted between 80 and 55 million years ago. Tectonic plates colliding far to the west created a colossal ripple effect, buckling the Earth's crust and thrusting these ancient seabeds thousands of feet into the sky. This is why we see the distinct tilted strata on mountains like Rundle. We are looking at the pages of a deep ocean history book, now standing on end. It is a powerful reminder that even the most immovable landscapes are born from cataclysmic change, a silent, ongoing narrative of planetary force and transformation. The emerald waters of the Gulf of Tonkin are punctuated by over 1,900 limestone pillars. But this serene seascape is the dramatic final act in a geological saga spanning 500 million years. This is a mature karst landscape, developed over 20 million years of tropical hot, wet climatic conditions, a process that has profoundly sculpted the thick limestone beds originally laid down hundreds of millions of years prior. The bay has been shaped by repeated sea level changes, a slow, patient cycle of marine transgression and regression that has carved out the spectacular caves and hidden grottos within the stone. Each islet, a tower karst weathered by millennia, stands as a monument to this deep time, creating not just a stunning vista, but a complex ecosystem. While legend speaks of a great dragon creating these jewels of stone, the scientific narrative is no less powerful, a testament to the planet's immense creative force, a living library where every island is a chapter written over eons. To gaze upon the cliffs of Santorini is to witness a profound paradox, a serene beauty sculpted by one of the most violent events in recorded history. Around the year 1600 BC, the colossal Minoan eruption, a cataclysmic event with the force of hundreds of atomic bombs, obliterated the island's heart, causing its center to collapse into the sea. What appears as a tranquil crescent is, in fact, the fragmented rim of a massive, submerged volcanic caldera. The iconic white villages are not merely built upon cliffs. They cling to the precipice of this ancient wound, a sheer 300-meter drop to the deep blue water. This cataclysm, however, also gave birth to a unique terroir. The very ground is composed of aspa, a porous soil of volcanic ash and pumice that allows ancient Assyrtiko grapevines to thrive. Their roots digging deep for sustenance to produce a wine as stark and mineral-rich as the landscape itself. Every breathtaking vista is a quiet testament to nature's immense power, a tranquil paradise built upon the beautiful ruins of geological fury. To approach Angkor Wat is to first cross an ocean of the mind, made real in stone and water. This colossal moat, a perfect rectangle stretching nearly 5 kilometers in circumference and over 190 meters wide, is far more than a simple defensive barrier. For the Khmer, it was the mythical Sea of Milk from which the universe was born, a liquid boundary separating the sacred world of the gods from the profane world of man. Yet, its genius is twofold, a masterful blend of the symbolic and the scientific. This vast reservoir maintains a high water table in the sandy soil beneath, providing a stable foundation for the 3 million tons of sandstone above. Without this ingenious hydraulic engineering, a design that simultaneously honors cosmology and controls geology, the temple's iconic towers would have long ago collapsed into the Cambodian earth, a silent testament to the fact that here, faith was built upon a bedrock of profound practical wisdom. The granite walls of Yosemite Valley rise not just as stone, but as a silent testament to an immense and patient power. Beginning over 1 million years ago, colossal glaciers, some nearly 4,000 feet thick, ground their way through this canyon, carving and quarrying the landscape. Yet the valley's iconic sheer faces owe their existence to a geological subtlety. The underlying rock, a resilient granodiorite forged some 100 million years ago deep within the Earth's crust, was so hard and uniform that the relentless ice couldn't easily shatter it. Instead, it was scoured, plucked, and polished, sculpted into the vertical monoliths of El Capitan and Half Dome that now define the horizon. Every echo that carries across the valley floor, every cascade of water from a hanging tributary, like Bridal Veil Fall, is a direct consequence of that ancient grinding artistry of ice on stone. To stand here is to witness a landscape not merely built, but revealed, a slow, geological unveiling that puts our own fleeting moment into a profound and humbling perspective. Perched nearly 8,000 feet above the Urubamba River, cradled between the peaks of Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu, the citadel appears as a timeless monument to imperial power. Yet its endurance is owed not to brute force, but to an astonishingly sophisticated understanding of its volatile foundation. The entire site was deliberately constructed over two active fault lines, a decision that defies conventional logic until you look closer at the stonework. Inca engineers employed a technique known as ashlar masonry, fitting massive granite blocks together without a drop of mortar, cut with such precision that not even a knife blade can be inserted between them. During the region's frequent seismic tremors, these stones are designed to dance. They move and shift with the Earth's vibrations before settling back into their exact original positions. This is not merely architecture. It is a profound dialogue with the landscape, a 15th century masterwork of seismic engineering that allowed a city in the clouds to move in harmony with the very ground. Long before it was named Victoria Falls, it was Mosi Oa Tunya, the smoke that thunders. It is a name born not of sight, but of sound and feel, a deep, visceral tremor that travels through the ground for miles. This isn't a river cascading down a mountainside. It is an entire landscape dropping into an abyss. The key to its unique linear form lies not in erosion alone, but in the ancient geology beneath. For over 180 million years, the Zambezi has flowed across a vast basalt plateau, a sheet of volcanic rock. But this sheet is fractured, riddled with deep fault lines running east to west. The river didn't carve this chasm so much as it found it, exploiting a pre-existing weakness in the Earth's crust. This is why the falls present their astonishing, near-uniform curtain of water, stretching for almost 2 kilometers. What we are witnessing is a single, dramatic moment in a geological drama that has taken 200,000 years to unfold, as the river finds and surrenders to one crack in the stone after another, leaving the stark evidence of its journey in the zigzagging gorges downstream. To see the Great Wall is to see a stone dragon, a myth made real, snaking over the spines of these northern mountains. But the legend often obscures a more fascinating reality. The most iconic sections, those built by the Ming Dynasty over 500 years ago, hold an unexpected secret, not in their scale, but in their very chemistry. The mortar binding these immense stones is a sophisticated mixture of slaked lime and, remarkably, glutinous rice flour. This simple organic additive created a composite with incredible strength and water resistance, one of the great technological innovations of its time. It is this ancient ingenuity that allowed millions of precisely laid bricks to cling to near vertical ridges, enduring centuries of wind and rain. Far from being a simple barrier, the wall is a monumental chronicle of human persistence, a testament to an empire's resolve to shape its very geography, with its enduring strength found in something as humble as a grain of rice. At first glance, the Giant's Causeway appears as a deliberate act of engineering, a pavement laid by some forgotten race. Yet its origin story is one of elemental fury, not mythic design. Some 60 million years ago, during the Paleogene period, a vast fissure eruption flooded this coastline with molten basalt. As this immense lava plateau cooled and contracted, immense tension forces pulled the rock apart, creating a network of fractures. The most efficient pattern for relieving this stress is the hexagon. And so, with the unassailable logic of physics, nearly 40,000 interlocking columns were born. Each pillar, a frozen moment from that violent geological past, now stands against the relentless assault of the North Atlantic. You can feel the echoes of that creation in the wind and the spray. A place where the Earth's inner fire met the cold, churning sea. Long before humanity conceived of geometry or architecture, these fundamental principles were being etched into the stone of the Antrim coast. A silent, enduring monument, not to a giant's ambition, but to the planet's own elegant and powerful laws. While often called the eighth wonder of the world, To see the rice terraces of Banaue as a mere monument is to miss their true genius. This is a living, breathing system of hydraulic engineering, sculpted by hand over hundreds of years. From the clan-owned Muyong forests that crown the peaks, a complex network of bamboo pipes and earthen canals harnesses the mountain's water, feeding each terraced pond in a precisely controlled, gravity-fed cascade. The sheer scale is staggering. Laid end to end, these stone and mud walls would stretch halfway around the globe. Yet this was not the work of an empire, but of small communities of Ifugao farmers. Each terrace represents a generational contract, a commitment to maintain a delicate balance passed down through time. What we are witnessing is not simply agriculture. It is a cultural blueprint made manifest, a testament to an intricate worldview where the sacred, the communal, and the practical are woven into the very fabric of the land. The landscape of Meteora presents an immediate, almost surreal question. Why here? The answer begins not with faith, but with geology, some 60 million years in the past. This entire plain was once the bed of a prehistoric lake, where river deltas deposited immense layers of stone and conglomerate. Tectonic upheaval later raised this seabed, and for millennia, the patient forces of wind and water carved away all but these titanic pillars. It was this resulting isolation, a fortress sculpted by nature, that first drew ascetic hermits in the 9th century. 500 years later, facing the instability of a crumbling Byzantine empire, monks seeking refuge in spiritual elevation founded the first of what would become 24 monasteries, engineering these sanctuaries suspended in the air. The literal meaning of Meteora. What we see today is therefore not just a marvel of nature, but a profound dialogue between geological time and the human quest for permanence. To gaze upon Venice is to witness an architectural sleight of hand, a city that appears to float on the very waters that threaten it. But its foundations are not magic. They are a marvel of medieval engineering rooted in the earth itself. Beneath the marble palazzos and stone bridges lies a vast inverted forest. Early Venetians drove over 11 million timber piles, mostly alder, prized for its water resistance, deep into the unstable mud of the lagoon. Deprived of oxygen, the submerged wood did not decay. Instead, through a slow, centuries-long process of mineralization, it petrified, creating a stone-like base of incredible strength. Every step one takes through these hallowed alleyways is therefore taken atop this hidden, man-made geology. The city's enduring genius lies not just in the opulent facades that meet the eye, but in this unseen triumph, a testament to a people who did not conquer nature, but rather harnessed its own processes to build the impossible. The surreal landscape of Cappadocia, often seen as a fantasy, is in fact a geological masterpiece some 60 million years in the making. Born from the violent eruptions of three ancient volcanoes, Erciyes, Hasan, and Golu, this region was blanketed in a thick layer of soft volcanic ash, or tuff. Over millennia, this was compacted and then capped by a harder layer of basalt. The relentless forces of wind and water then went to work, eroding the softer tuff while the resistant basalt caps remained, sculpting the iconic pillars we call fairy chimneys. But this is where the story shifts from geology to human ingenuity. This very softness that made the tuff vulnerable to erosion also made it perfect for excavation. Early inhabitants, and later Christians seeking refuge, discovered they could carve entire communities directly into the rock. These were not mere caves, but sophisticated multi-leveled dwellings, chapels adorned with frescoes, and sprawling underground cities capable of sheltering thousands. What we witness here is a rare and profound dialogue between the earth and its people, a landscape forged by volcanic fire that became a sanctuary, where the very stone itself tells a story of survival, faith, and adaptation. What we see as immutable stone is, in fact, the breathtaking result of a slow-motion collision that began over 65 million years ago. These peaks were not born of fire, but of immense pressure as the African tectonic plate relentlessly pushed northward into the Eurasian continent. This colossal geological event folded and thrust the ancient seafloor skyward, which is why, even today, one can find the fossilized remains of marine life thousands of feet above the nearest ocean. You can read this violent history in the twisted strata of the rock faces, a visible chronicle of unimaginable force. The iconic pyramid of the Matterhorn itself is a geological outlier, a remnant of the African plate, carried for hundreds of miles and left stranded atop European rock. These mountains, therefore, are not static monuments. They are a living testament to deep time, still rising by a few millimeters each year. A story of continental drama that continues to unfold before our very eyes.